So today is the last day of my 27th year, and tomorrow's my birthday. And it's been a really great year for me. A lot of success with my work, a lot of fun with my friends, and a year full of love and laughter and really good memories. So I invited a few of my friends and family up here to Provincetown, Massachusetts, the gay Mecca, to celebrate a really great year and to start the new year off on my 28th year on a great foot. Haley Starr!
Who goes there?
Haley!
Hark, who goes there?
Are there any bears inside?
No bears today. No bears today. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, are we in France again?
We are in France, yes.
You look lovely.
Hi, darling. Thank you. Morning.
Good morning.
How
I
are
love your
you?
calves.
Oh, thanks. Hi, boys.
We're
How are
bright
you?
early.
Good morning.
You don't normally see this hour, huh?
Nope.
So I figured we'd walk down Commercial Street, do a little interviewing, ask people what some of their advice is for coming out of the closet. Are you up for it?
I'm up for it. I'm up for anything.
All right, let's do it, girl. Morning.
Hi there.
It's interesting going up to people because you don't want to make the assumption that they're gay or that they
Right.
would have coming out advice.
Right.
But I guess if you phrase it that way, you have coming out advice,
Exactly.
whether you're gay or straight.
No matter what your
Right.
gender bender may be.
Can we ask you guys a question?
Sure.
We're putting together a little video about coming out stories.
Yes.
Do you guys have any advice that you would give to kind of the younger generation about coming out of the closet?
Well, I would just say be yourself and go with what your feelings say.
Yeah.
Try not to get too stressed out about it.
If you're true to yourself, nothing else matters. And once you tell your mother and father, nothing else, nobody can judge you. Because I remember when I came out, I told my mother and father. And the rest was history.
I came out late, and it was just, I wish I would have came out earlier.
How old were you when you came out?
To my family, like 40. And they were all good. They all said we kind of knew what you were, you know.
Yeah.
And
Why
I was
did you
fine
wait?
with it. Because I had a hard time with who I was, you know.
Right.
I didn't live in an area that was gay, and it wasn't accepting of gay. And it was really, when I came out, everybody accepted it. They all knew who I was, and they were, you know. And if they don't accept you, they weren't worthy of being your friends, and you just
weren't
find
worthy of the
somebody
love.
that's gonna love you.
For me, it was just finding the person I could count on for support the most and starting there. And you know, once I had that person behind me, who it turned out to be my sister, it felt like I could conquer the world anyway.
Well, mine was weird because my mother asked me.
Oh.
She beat you to the punch.
What happened to me?
She did. She beat me to the punch. She picked me up at college, and I was like miserable for like a month. And she was like, "I think there's something you need to tell me." And then we sort of did this breakdown crying thing, and it was just this massive weight lifted off my shoulders.
What was the first video that you saw?
Oh gosh,
The Bukkake one?
No,
Really? That's the private collection.
actually, that's
The
pretty funny.
collection.
The one where you go to one of the New York City sketchy bathhouses.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a classic.
I know, right? Like, how could you
Mom,
not?
I didn't.
No,
It didn't happen.
He did.
It's a classic.
I think I watched the one about your mom. Your mom visited
She's
or
here.
something.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mama
really?
Mama Wavey is in
Mama
town.
Wavey's in the house.
So you may see her.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take a picture, it'll last longer.
If you have any
Best piece of coming out advice, what would it be?
or words of
I don't
wisdom.
know. Just be born when they were instead of when we were.
Yeah.
It's so much easier now.
To use the resources that kids have. with
Yeah,
the
exactly.
internet.
And you know, the acceptance that's out there.
There's a lot more support. It's a different world now. I mean, I came out when I was in my teens, but truly came out, found the bars when I was 19. That was in 71, 72. Maybe 50 people went to Pride. The rest of us wouldn't go because we didn't want to be seen on the news,
Right.
scared about our jobs. And that's changed now. So
You've got support from everybody, teachers and parents and the laws.
You know how many years ago I came out?
How many?
40.
Wow. Congratulations. 40 years to...
40 years. I'm 58. I came out when I was 18.
Wow.
To my parents.
She said, "Oh, are you gay?" And I said, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I am." And she said, "Oh, well, we kind of thought you were because, you know, you weren't dating any girls." And you know, actually, I was dating a few girls, but no.
Yeah.
So that's my story. But advice to younger people, the sooner you do it, the better, and the sooner you accept yourself, the better your life will be. That's my advice to younger people.
Would you like a picture?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I knew I was gay when I was like 4 years old, and I came out when I was 15. And in Mississippi.
In Mississippi
Oh, wow.
in
Right,
1980.
and yeah, in 1980 in Mississippi. So
To your family and
to my mother, and she sent me to counseling, and the counselor said, let her be whoever she wants to be. You know, because you're trying to force her to be something else, she's just going to rebel. And after that, my mother finally came to terms with it and had no problem since. Couldn't be happier.
That's fantastic.
I came out late. I came out at 31.
Really?
Yeah, I just, but now, today, I just be who you are.
Yeah, I mean, I came out when I was 21, when I was old enough to drink. But you have to be comfortable in your own skin first before you can be comfortable with anybody else.
Yeah.
You think you're by yourself, but you find out you're really not. There's probably about 7 in my graduating class. I found out later on in the years that now they're out and about. So
I'm from Iran, so I was in an Iranian family in Canada. That's where we're living now. And yeah, I mean, it was, at the moment I knew, the first person I talked to was my mother. And it was kind of weird, I guess, from a Middle Eastern family. And I know that other people in our, circles had a lot of challenges and a lot of issues with it. But my mother was amazing. She embraced it. She wasn't happy about it, neither was my father, but they embraced it. And I guess my luck kind of continued. Everybody was pretty supportive, and even in high school, I took a guy to prom. And, years later, I look back and I said, am I just lucky that, all this happened? But thinking back, I think it was just because I didn't give anyone a choice to not be happy about it. I mean, it took her a few years. I mean, for her, she said for 45 years of her life, she decided that this was something that people choose, and all of a sudden I come out and she has to believe that it's part of me and it's not something that I'm choosing. And now she's amazing.
To find the video, you just have to Google Davey Wavey.
Okay. Actually, I know your videos. I've been a fan for a while.
Closet blog buddy. That's fantastic.
Yeah, YouTube kept suggesting, this Davey Wavey guy to me to watch. One of these times I started watching and kind of got hooked.
I knew, he had like the googly eyes and he was looking at you. Do you remember what your first video was?
It was like a dance video, I feel. I think you were dancing. There was an exercise routine or something.
Oh, was it?
That narrows it down a bit.
Yeah, that narrows it down to about 100 videos. Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, bye, Haley.
I'll see you in a little while.
Behave yourself.
I'll try not to.
I'm also thank you though.
Do you have more food? Are you sure?
Yeah, I just say thank you though.
That's my mom. Hi.
Good at yourself.
Good, thank you.
Well, there's at least one then.
Yeah.
What do we
Yes.
chopped liver? We don't count?
I came from Boston, so it wasn't that bad.
Were you here for today?
Just for today, just for this.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. We were out on Commercial Street.
Oh, nice.
We're asking people for their best piece of coming out advice.
Can I try it?
Well, don't get
I'm gonna
kicked
try
out.
and make
my
my
first
own.
one.
Don't get kicked out?
Yeah.
What, by
your parents?
Is that what happened to you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you from
Massachusetts, actually.
Oh, okay.
So it happens here.
Interesting. Yeah, we talked to people from like Mississippi and like all over the place, but I mean, generally the East Coast, you would think like
you
a
would
little
think,
bit.
oh, they're someone supported it. No, my parents are Greek immigrants, so.
So you don't have any contact with your parents at all?
No.
So sad.
It's all right. My extended family's supportive, so got that.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have 2 younger sisters.
And are they?
One's very much in line with my parents, and the other one is becoming quite the little ally.
Is she really?
Yeah. It just got to a point where I couldn't live there anymore, and they basically said don't come home, so I didn't. Yeah, it's been rough, but a lot of like, this is kind of where Davey inspires me. It's kind of like get out there and do something about it as opposed to just taking it. So I work for PFLAG during the school year, and we go out to high schools and we do events. And PFLAG is Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, and it's the Greater Boston chapter. We go out to high schools in Massachusetts, and we talk to them about what it's like to be LGBT or Q, and we kind of put a name to the label, I guess, and we try to promote, you know, good self-esteem for gay kids and build allies, and it's one of the best things I can do. I guess my best piece of advice for coming out would be to come in first and kind of really be yourself. Come into your sexuality, really take hold of it, know who you are as an individual, and then when you're really comfortable with yourself, start sharing that, because you have come into yourself, you've kind of solidified yourself.
George gets the first free hug. Big one.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Free hugs! This whole day has been just really fun.
Yeah. And hot.
And magic. And hot.
I think we've met some pretty amazing people, though. I mean, the stories that you've already heard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Everyone has a story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you think the hugs went?
I think the hugs went really well.
I think the hugs went great.
It was cute that as many people came out as they did to say hi.
But it was nice that so many people weren't afraid to embrace. Because you had a couple that were like,
and you can see them thinking about it, and they're like, I want to,
yeah,
but
and
hugging a
like,
stranger.
Come on, just give us a hug.
You just need to give them that little push.
And they were like, all right,
and
let's
then
go
other people
for
are
it.
just like, people are just like, oh,
no. That woman was like, I don't hug. I don't hug.
Do you remember when you first knew that I was gay?
Yeah, I do remember that. It's never like I can't give a date when I knew you were gay, but I always, well, when the Martha Stewart Living magazine would come to the house and you were like 5, 6 years old, Mama, your favorite magazine is here. Let's sit down and look at it together. I said, okay, this is a typical 6-year-old boy.
And then Bon Appetit, that was another favorite of mine.
Just, you're reading, we didn't read, the fairy tales. We did magazines and Martha Stewart Living, and that's what you enjoyed.
So that was your first inclination?
Inclination. And I always kind of like knew you were gay, but I think if I said it out loud, then it would be affirmed, be like, okay, yes.
Do you remember the day that I came out?
Yes, I do. It was January 29th. I'm sorry, January 29th, yes, 2001.
Mm-hmm. Where were we?
We were in the living room, and you said, "Ma, I have to talk to you." And I remember we were sitting on the couch, and like we always had these little heart-to-heart talks, and we like, and you were leaning up against me, but I guess your heart was like going real fast, and I just remember that. And I said, "Oh my God, he's got something really serious to tell me." He's not going to tell me, oh, I flunked a class or I did something, like I stole something. I said, oh, this is really, not that stealing isn't serious, but this is really, really serious, what you had to tell me. And I remember your heart was going so fast. And I remember you said to me,
I had my head in your lap.
Yeah, but your heart was going real fast. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, so I couldn't get myself to say the words, I'm gay.
But why did you choose to say it to me and not to Dad? And why did you just one of us and not both of us?
Because you have a lesbian friend, and so I figured that, and it's, I don't know, you just think it's easier to tell your mom than it is to tell your dad.
Well, okay, as a son.
And so I thought I would tell you, but I just couldn't get myself to say it.
Yeah.
And
it was a 20 question.
So it was really 40, like we went through every question, did you steal something?
Yeah.
Did you see something that you shouldn't have seen?
Do I talk like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I remember you saying to me, okay, I'm gay. And the first thing I said to you, I said, are you sure? And that was really stupid. That's what I said to you, are you sure?
Right. Well, you didn't read the, like, how to be a P-flag mom handbook, you know. Like,
I should have read that first. I would have been a little bit better at this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. As much as you might have known it, it kind of came out of the blue. But finally I said, you said, is there a girl that you like? And I said, no. And I paused. And I think in that moment, we were both like, okay.
Yep.
You know, it's a boy you like, or, you know, you're gay.
Yeah.
And then we did the obligatory cry.
Because life is tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then you're probably thinking of a lot. You're thinking of, am I going to have grandkids?
I was thinking of, I grew up with the AIDS epidemic of the 80s.
That was one of the first things you said.
And it's still a very scary thing today.
But, right. But I mean, it's something that everyone has to worry about. Yeah. So finally, we did the cry.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to you, don't tell Dad.
You did tell me. And what did I do?
Tell Dad.
I told Dad. You went to bed, and that was the first thing I did.
You like ran over to Dad.
And I said,
what'd you say?
I said, David's gay, and you went. He said to me, "Are you surprised?" And I said, "No, but it's been affirmed." And
so you and Dad had never talked about it.
No, we didn't want to say it because if you say it out loud, it's going to happen. Like, oh, I have cancer. It's going to happen if you say it out loud. You keep it quiet because it's going to go away. You never say it out loud.
So he wasn't surprised.
No,
you never talked about it.
He just said, "Are you surprised?" I'm like,
right.
No, but
well, yeah. He's one of 3 boys, and he probably figured the typical route wasn't getting an easy bake oven and reading Bon Appetit. You know, let's be real.
That's true. And go to dance classes too.
Yeah.
And gymnastics classes. We forgot about all those things. Gymnastics class, dance classes.
They're all stereotypical. Whatever. I could have been a straight boy that likes Bon Appetit and salsa lessons.
And I remember saying to you that night, if I could give you a pill to make it all go away, would you take this pill? And you said, no, Ma, I am who I am, and I won't change it, and I don't want to change it. And that really aggravated me, because I thought, oh, if you could just take a pill, it would go away.
But here's the thing, like, being gay, as tough as it's been, and as many stories as there are, like George, where families kick their kids out, it's something that the experience of going through that, while I never wish it on someone, is a tremendous opportunity to build character. It shapes who you are, makes you a stronger person.
But I don't want my son to have to go through that.
Yeah.
I want you to have the easy life.
Well, yeah, but you know, that's life, and I still wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it. I mean, the hardest part about coming out, especially to your family, is that you're so vulnerable in that moment. At 17, you're not financially independent. I don't have my own apartment. My family is, central to my life, and
you didn't want to continue like in denial till like through college or something and be safe.
In your heart, at a certain point, you just know it's time. And people always ask, when should you come out? When's the best time for me to come out? And I think you just know it. And in your heart.
And that January 29th was
right
after my birthday, and you said, okay.
I knew it. I knew that it was time for me to share it, to stay in the closet for the sake of...
We had gone on a family vacation up to Maine, and you almost told us that weekend, but then you decided, let's have a fun weekend. Let's
Didn't I say something in the car? I was like, do we know any gay people? And I was like, I was trying to pave the road.
Yeah, that's right.
And then finally I couldn't. I didn't want to hide it anymore.
Yeah.
And so the risk of you and Dad reacting badly, which I didn't think you would, but I knew was a possibility, was worth it because...
Yeah, and I think having a gay child, you love your children, but you love them even more because you're so concerned for his safety and well-being. Like, I love Janine and I love you, but I was just like, do you love your son? I love you more because you're gay, because I'm just so, I don't know. I'm just always so concerned for you, and I'm always worried about you, and I always want you to be safe and healthy, and
Yeah. So I think the hardest part was the risk that's involved in coming out, and what the implications can be if it didn't go the way it did, if it had ended like George's story where
on the streets or whatever.
Right. And so that's why my heart was racing. That's why I was.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
You've got the best kid in the world. I'm very fortunate.
So with all the coming out stories that we've shared today,
Yes.
I think the time has come
To lip sync for your life?
to share yours.
Oh. Well, I was 18 and I struggled with it for a while. Whether or not I should tell my parents, or if I shouldn't tell my parents. I thought about telling my sister first or telling somebody first. I decided that I couldn't confront my mother or father about it. But they confronted me about it about 2 months before I actually came out to them. I had like an XY survival guide type thing. It was like like questions and answers, like how to come out and what being gay is all about and all that. And my parents called me downstairs and you would always step down into the living room. I went down into the living room, and on the coffee table there was usually like books and coasters and whatever. And on the center of the coffee table there was nothing on the coffee table but that book. And I stepped down into the living room and I stepped right back up. And my mom said, is this yours? Is there anything you want to tell us? And I denied it. I said it was a friend, so I went to school with at the time. And my father said to me, it doesn't matter what you do in your bedroom. It matters who you are inside. And I still, at that point, that was like a gift. Like that's what kids like.
That's what you want.
That's what kids dream for, and kids. And I feel so selfish, and I regret not sitting down and like talking to them. Instead, I denied the whole thing, and it was a quick conversation, and I went right back up to my room. It was never spoke of for weeks after that. My sister tried to talk to me about it a little bit, but I didn't talk to her. I don't know. I still don't remember why I didn't, but I just didn't talk to her about it. And we're very close, but didn't talk about it. So one day I finally wrote a letter to my mom, and I left it in an envelope on our kitchen table. There was a concert that night for like a favorite artist that she had, and I bought 2 tickets for us, and I left her ticket in the envelope with the letter. And I took mine.
So dramatic.
And I took mine, and I went to the show. And
so you were at the show.
I was at the show with my mom because I left before my mom came home from work. And I was at the show, and it wasn't like a big like rock concert. It was like a classical artist and all this stuff.
That
so
your mom liked.
My mom really is a real fan of.
So it's almost like if she goes to the concert, then
everything is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I still carry around. I should have got it. It's in my other room, but I still carry the letter around with me. That I made a copy of it, and I take it everywhere I go. Left the letter at the show, and she, the show went on, intermission came around, still no sign. Like I checked my phone, hadn't heard from her. And then when I left the show, I had missed calls and stuff from my house and text messages, but I was like, well, you didn't.
So she didn't come to the show.
She didn't come to the show at all. So I was like, well, you're calling me, so, and I was like, oh, I didn't know what to make of it.
What did you?
I didn't want to go home.
Thinking? Yeah.
I didn't want to go home.
Were there any messages? Did you?
My dad left a voicemail and said to come home right away. And I walked upstairs, and my mom was sitting on my bed, and she was holding the letter. And we talked, and everything was okay.
So why didn't she go to the show?
She ended up working late that night, and she didn't get home.
After all that.
She didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, she did.
You were all in a tizzy.
It was.
See little Miss Haley.
Haley Starr wasn't even born yet. She was still like a sperm in some little drag queen.
She's always been there.
She's been around, I guess.
Yeah. What was it like for you, Matt?
Well, it's funny because when I did initially come out, we had talked about it first. It was the Thanksgiving before we were going home for vacation.
I remember this, yeah.
And you had asked me if I was going to tell my mom, because the last time I had come home, she had questioned me about my eyebrows. She was like, "Are you getting your eyebrows done?" And I was like, "No." She's
and
like,
you know
sure?
What the next question is
yeah.
after that.
And she was kind of leading up to it, but she backed away and left it alone. So she picked me up, got home.
She was on to you.
Immediately walked right into the kitchen, and I went next to the stove to go and grab something out of one of the cabinets. And I'm not facing her, and she asks me, "Are you gay?" And
flat out says
flat
it.
out.
And you weren't looking at her?
I was not looking at her.
And it's a good thing, because I'm sure your face said it all.
Because it always does.
Yeah. I can just imagine.
And I said, I didn't look at her. I just said no. no, I'm not. We've already been through this. No. She's like, no, it's okay. You can tell me, Matthew. And I said, no, I'm not. Don't worry about it. And she said it one more time. And when the last time she said it, you could hear the tears in her voice. And it made me tear up. And I turned around, I looked at her, and I said, I am. And she starts crying, and I'm crying. And she was like, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to get through this. Don't worry about it. Jump forward to the very next morning when you feel this sigh of relief. You finally get it out. And she's sitting downstairs. I'm coming down the stairs, and she's sitting there in the family room. And she's like, come take a seat with me. You know, it just doesn't sit well with me. I really think that we should go and talk to someone. Are you sure that this is really who you are? I really don't think that this is okay. You have to recognize this is a sin, all of that stuff. And it kind of severed our relationship for a very long time. And it's gotten better. It's gotten worse. Now it's in a place where it's gotten a heck of a lot better. But, you know, I look back on it, and for a long time I was angry, and it hit me one day. I said, you know, what is my mother's experience? What is the experience both my parents have had growing up? They grew up when AIDS was seen as being the gay disease. They grew up, you know, where you could see gay men being beat up and being called faggot, and it was okay. You know, people just turned a blind eye to it. And that being her experience growing up, looking at that being her son, you know, she doesn't see how the GLBT community has really progressed since then. And she was afraid for me more than anything. This whole experience has been great, though, in P-Town. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think it's something that a lot of people, as different as they all are,
there's so many, I mean, walking,
that resonates.
Even today, like, you know, with us starting out this morning, there were so many different people that we saw. And then, like, you know, I had some downtime, so I, like, sat behind and, like, watched you guys, like, with, like, the free hugs and all the stuff that was happening with George. And it was, like, there were so many different aspects to the story as a whole.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful to see it all, like, fold together.
Yeah.
Hi, Buckley.
So that's pretty much it. That's how my 27th year is going to come to a close. It might not be a fairy tale ending, but it works. It's very Davey Wavey, very Provincetown. It was so wonderful to spend some time with my family and my friends. It was really fantastic. Meeting some new people, hearing some really incredible stories. I think it was the perfect way to start my next year for even better, more amazing adventures.
My pantyhose. This is gonna be a problem.
Oh, it is tucked in?
Well, I can untuck it. Hold on.
All right.
God. All right, give me a
Okay, all right.
See what women go through every day.
Is this a typical morning for you?